but everybody isn't here.
Oh well.
Oh yeah, hold up. Wait, where is Kaleido?
Kaleido's microphone sucks. Like, I don't think
Is
that he
he,
could actually like be
is
heard.
he
I
on?
don't.
Can you hear me?
What about
No.
me?
Yeah, we
Am
can
I
hear
okay?
you. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you're
right.
good. You're
This
good.
one's fine. Steve, it could be better, but you're still terrible.
What about now?
Good.
Yay.
Alright,
Yay.
let's start this
Okay, it
up.
says my headset's working fine, so yeah.
Alright guys, we're here with the 2013 Video Game Memories collaboration. I'm RetroVGN along with some other YouTubers here that are not well known. The reason why I'm picking small people because the big people won't respond to me if I give them a message on YouTube. And frankly, I don't want Pewdie in my fucking videos because he's a disgrace.
Oh,
Anyway,
God.
Indeed.
the guest
But it's
list is as follows: John Lugo, who is Eminemneo; DizzyTheConquer, who used to be Vest with a Snake on YouTube, but he's now doing animations and Mugen videos. He's doing a fantastic job, by the way.
Thank you.
Matt Cohy. I don't know how to say it. How do I say your last name?
The G isn't silent, it's Coggy.
Coggy.
Yeah.
Alright, just call him Four Stride.
Yeah.
His
Just
YouTube
do
is
that.
AnimalCrossingX. Lee is Super Mario Master 91. Dude, remember I called you 98 last time.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back. You're on the guest list right here. The Kaleidoscope is a YouTube pooper who follows in the shadows of CS188 and Sport.cam, and they're all my respected YouTube poop community, or small YouTube poop community on YouTube. Mikey, who is WWE DX 2006.
Face to faith. Ah.
We have Steve, who do you care to give your YouTube name out?
I don't really have one, but I'm just a good friend of yours.
Okay. And Monee, what's your YouTube?
I'm not a YouTuber, stupid.
Wait, what?
I'm not a YouTuber.
Yeah, but you have a YouTube name anyway.
Yeah, but I don't use it, so what's the point? I'm just here just to be here. See?
Okay.
Thank you.
And
Kind of like me.
the ending of the video, we will have a testimonial from the official Jelly, who can't make it because he doesn't have a microphone. He's MagmaBriixMC on YouTube. Just before we start, I need to give 2 mentions. These are because I've been gifted with some stuff recently, and I didn't get to give shoutouts. So Zach Elias 01, thank you for buying Steam version of Battlefront 2. I love Star Wars Battlefront 2. And Eminemneo, I would like to thank you for our recent Revelations review. That was a really great project to work on. So thanks, John. Alright.
Where do we begin?
Anybody can just start talking about a game. I guess since I'm the organizer of this, I'll just start with mine. I want to take a brief moment, and you guys that know me or already know I'm going to talk about this. I love Jet Set Radio.
Yeah.
freaking knew it.
Yep.
What is your best memory from Jet Set Radio?
Well, my best memory from Jet Set Radio would have to be, skating across Kugani-cho and spraying all those high ledges and escaping the helicopters and whatnot.
Oh yeah, with the rhinos are after you.
I always liked the first level of the game, which name escapes me right now, but like I love just
Shibuya-cho?
Yeah.
Shibuya-cho, yeah. I love skating around the streets in that and just tagging everything and then running away from what's his name? The guy with the brown coat.
Onishima.
Onishima, yeah. I love that. I'll never forget that stage as long as I live.
Dude, man. So far with Jet Set Radio, so far what really stuck out to me for the game would be the music, because it was something that was kind of unique at the time. Yeah, it was like late 90s, early 2000s, but for the most part you don't really hear many popular songs from that era in the game, which is pretty much a good thing, because mostly it's just like underground and unknown music. So even today it still pretty much holds up, and a couple of them I have either on my phone or iPod or whatever, because the soundtrack just sounds very memorable. It's different, and for, you know, varying music tastes as well. So
a lot of the tracks that I hear in Jet Set Radio, I wish I heard in a real life radio, because they're just so well made.
Well, here's the thing. I'm actually glad that they really not on real life radio, because knowing what radio is today, they probably just abuse the heck out of it. To me, yeah, it's pretty much, safe to say that it belongs in the game. That way people can actually enjoy it a lot more, because that's what's really happening right now. A lot of stuff that isn't, like mainstream is getting more and more popular and not being over abused. That's what with the game Jet Set Radio, especially since they brought it on PC, new systems, hell, including the iPhone and the Android stuff.
And the PS Vita.
Oh, yeah.
Back! It's on the Vita as well?
Yes,
Wow.
it's either already out for the Vita or it's coming out for the Vita.
Wow, finally, another game for the Vita.
Oh, no, I don't know. The Vitas are really, the 3DS is where it's at now, with all their new games coming out this year, which was good. Last year was good, but this year is getting even better.
Well,
Yeah.
the PS Vita does have one thing that the 3DS doesn't have, and that is Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah.
That is true.
That's for sure.
Let's get back on topic
It's
first.
Ninja Gaiden, which
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the 3DS.
Yeah, let's get back on topic.
Let's start with the next game. Whoever wants to talk next about their favorite
Sonic
game.
Adventure.
Resident Evil.
Panzer Dragoon.
Sonic 3?
I start Gunstar Heroes.
Oh yeah, Gunstar Heroes.
That game was great.
Gunstar Heroes is actually one of the first Sega Genesis games that I actually played. I didn't know it, but it was one of the first ones I played, and I quickly fell in love with it when I was still 5 years old, still playing, my brother's old Sega Genesis games.
I didn't really get a chance to play it very much, but from when I played, I really enjoyed it. I don't have a specific memory of that.
It is a really good game. It's really up there with most of the rail shooters and stuff that was on the Super Nintendo at the time. Some of the later levels are balls hard, like Contra.
Lightfalls.
Almost like Contra.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I have to say it's a shame that a game like that, which is also made by Treasure, it's really underrated, including ones that are belonging in Japan like this. Yu Hakusho fighting game for the Sega Genesis. It's really underrated.
Yeah.
Speaking of Treasure, there was a game released by Sega not too long back that was on the Sega Saturn and never got released over here. I can't remember what it was called, but I think it was was it a sequel to Gunstar Heroes or something? Radiant Silvergun, that was it.
Because the sequel to Gunstar Heroes was Gunstar Superheroes, and that was on the Game Boy Advance, and I actually played that first before Gunstar Heroes. And it seemed like to me that was a pretty good game, but there were a few missing things from that, and Gunstar Heroes had more. I believe it had more variety with the powers, and some of the stages seemed like it were just like the puzzled with the thing. I forgot which villain it was, but there was the puzzle part where you had to roll the dice and then you had to move on the game board. That was also put in Gunstar Superheroes, and that was from originally Gunstar Heroes, and where you had to roll the dice and then you move a couple spaces and then you go to different stages where you could either fight a mini boss or you fight a couple of enemies, or you just automatically skip the rooms.
That would admit that was actually one of the problems I had with Gunstar Superheroes. The same thing can say the same thing for Advanced Guardian Heroes, which is actually a sequel to Guardian Heroes for Sega Saturn. When you go right down to it, Guardian Heroes for Sega Saturn is much better than Advanced Guardian Heroes. Both of them are really good, but you have to do a lot for Advanced Guardian Heroes. I do mean a lot to unlock only, small certain things. I mean, like characters, yeah, that's good, but there's no like extra stages or anything for battles, or for 2-on-2 battles or anything like that, which is really shameful.
What, they don't have any link cable support for that game?
They do. I'm talking not
Oh.
link cable support. I'm talking about content wise.
Oh, content-wise. I was about to say, 'cause I didn't know that game had a sequel on Game Boy Advance, honestly. It's like some of their games just end up going under the radar.
Wait, what about Fighting Vipers?
That recently got a remake, didn't it?
I don't know if it actually got a remake or not, but it was a good fighting game.
More like a re-release along with Sonic the Fighters and Virtual Fighter 2.
Yes.
Yeah. That's right.
I would like to bring up Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure is just, it was one of my favorite games ever. I mean, it was released in 1999, my birthday, September 9th. It was later ported to the Nintendo GameCube and PC. And really, my mind was blown away at how silky smooth the controls were, and it just literally felt perfect for me. Like, the musical score felt like a glove, the sound effects were tailor-made, and the voice acting, despite major criticisms from the ungrateful Sonic fanbase, was top-notch in my opinion. My best memory of the game is playing through it and beating it multiple times. From its release in 1999 to the present day, it's good on so many levels. It's one of only 2 games that I've beaten over a dozen times. It just excels in every field.
Never played it, but I do have played the first Sonic game on Sega Mega Drive.
What's just Sonic 2?
Sonic 2. I mean, isn't that the game with almost like the same but with Tail?
Yeah.
No, not that too. I do have something on the GameCube. It's called Sonic Game Collection, and it's
that one was good.
It's like a whole collection of old Sonic games.
There's Sonic CD, Sonic R, and Sonic Fighting.
Yeah, and then some kind of weird ball monster game thing.
Vector Man. I know which one you're talking about.
And then there is sequel that you can damn, I forgot the word once again.
Since we're on the top of the Sonic games, I have to say my favorite Sonic game of all time is, of course, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. The whole thing, the whole shebang.
That was
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, because Sonic 3 and Knuckles was actually supposed to be that complete package, but because of development time, they had to cut it. And because of the whole lock-on cartridge thing, then you get to experience the full game. And even then, there were still some levels that were originally cut from the initial, after the initial release of Sonic 3 and even Sonic and Knuckles. Like, sorting through the game's code, I believe you could try to find a level or two that is unfinished.
Yep.
One interesting thing about it is, even though we did get Sonic 3 and Knuckles, we also got another extra in Sonic 2 and Knuckles.
Play that game on the collection.
Oh yeah, and the Blue Sphere.
And Blue Sphere, yeah, like an infinite version of Blue Sphere.
That was put when you put Sonic 1, I believe, into the cartridge.
Or any other game.
Yeah, or any other game. You're right about that.
Personally, in terms of Sonic games, my favorite one of all time will probably have to be Sonic 3. And really, what really caught my attention about it wasn't really just the storyline or the graphics. Really, it's the music that got to me. Like, I love Carnival Night Zone, but actually my favorite's the ending theme. And to tell you the truth, like, I was actually really surprised to find out that Michael Jackson did help with the music, but given into consideration the allegations that arose around the time. No, wait, there's actually two rumors. It was either because of the allegations that arose around the time, or it was because, given the gaming technologies back then, and given the fact that he was a perfectionist, it was said that he didn't like how the music came out, so he chose not to be credited. But personally, I don't see why. It's really good. I really loved it.
Wasn't his fault. I mean, the hardware wasn't really strong back then.
Like, okay, but again, you have to put this into consideration. Michael Jackson was indeed a perfectionist. So if there was at least one thing that he didn't like,
That I will say this. That is so untrue, but most of the information was actually because of the allegations that was around because of when that one time when they did like Michael Jackson's funeral. This one boy and his family actually admitted that one of the allegations that happened between them was a lie.
I knew it.
Oh, freaking duh!
Yeah,
It was all to get his money.
yeah.
Pretty much.
Greedy bastards.
But-
And now that same sort of thing is continuing today in the United Kingdom.
It's seriously, the man's dead, and they still continue with him. Let him
Yes,
rest.
and that's the fucking thing I hate about the media. Like, oh my fucking gosh, this man is dead. Like, leave him alone. Don't
The
y'all
media
think y'all
loves
put him
beating
through-
dead horses.
Like, y'all put him through enough when he was
Literally.
alive. For fuck's sake.
That's the media for you. They just love beating dead horses no matter
There's
what.
scumbags. Scumbags.
I think that maybe
My
Michael
fucking
Jackson
point
would have been.
exactly.
Like
I think maybe Michael Jackson
getting a dead horse with another dead horse.
I think that Michael
Yeah.
Jackson might have been a little bit happier if he would have used probably some better like I think that like he wasn't happy with how it came out and the accusations, but I think that like maybe if he would have had some better sound processing hardware, he could have been like happier with how it would have came out. But because the
But I
Sega's
still... I'm sorry, go on.
the Sega Genesis's sound processing was pretty weak compared to the Super Nintendo, honestly.
But personally, even with that fact in mind, I still think it sounds really good.
I do too.
I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say it again.
It wasn't
Yeah.
his fault. I mean,
Honestly-
the hardware was just to,
Like, it was
check.
just not so advanced, really.
It was
In a
probably
way,
because of the lackluster. It was probably because of the lackluster sales of probably the Sega CD, because that had, CD quality sound. Like for example, Sonic CD had really good music for
Yes,
its
it
time. And the thing is, he probably could have worked on that, but probably Sega projected the initial sales of Sonic CD and the Sega CD, as a commercial failure. Because even though it did have leaps and bounds in terms of memory and sound quality and using CDs, it didn't really deliver on sales numbers. I mean, to the point where I believe they had to package Sonic CD with a couple of Sega CDs at the time.
Well, because of that, the thing is that the Sega CD didn't really have that powerful like killer apps like the Genesis had.
hardware.
Like they had like Sonic the Hedgehog, they had Altered Beast, they had Streets of Rage, they had all kinds of games that were just ready. But like the Sega CD, the only games that you could really go for were probably Night Trap and Sonic CD.
Yeah, and don't forget Dynamite
Sewer
Trap.
Shark.
Oh,
Oh, and
like-
Echo the Dolphin. Don't forget Echo the Dolphin.
Echo the
Yes,
Dolphin,
that was
and
awesome.
of course, that one game
Golden
that
Axe.
Tim loves. That one game that Tim loves. It was made by Hideo Kojima.
Snatcher.
Yep.
Snatcher. Yeah.
What about
Yeah,
Golden
but-
Axe?
Golden Axe
Axe.
the Duel was on the Sega Saturn,
Golden
I
Axe?
believe.
Oh, I thought you said Golden Eye. Sorry.
Oh, Golden Eyes is awesome.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk
I love
about
you,
that.
sir. I love you.
I never
Wait,
played it.
Best first-person
Never
shooter
played
next to Doom.
I never
GoldenEye is absolutely great. I mean, honestly, like there was a lot of features in the game that were originally planned that probably would have made it a lot better. But even with the way it came out, it was still great. I mean, it was just so solid. I mean, like it was just excelled in so many different fields.
It was the
I mean,
game
like
it was the game you brought people over to play with.
yeah, that was the multiplayer game on the N64 before Gauntlet Legends came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add to that where initially during the development process, multiplayer was actually an afterthought and brought
Yeah,
in during
seriously.
the last few
Oh, hi.
and brung in during the last few months of development. And I recently replayed GoldenEye, and when I replayed it a little bit, it is still fun, but at the same time, it hasn't really aged well. It feels like it's the kind of game that right now, if it were to be remade, not like the way, not the Wii remake
Wii version.
or
That
the
was
other
rape.
one.
That was
If-
so much rape, in my opinion.
Oh
if
my
they
God.
if they would have remade it the way the N64 version. Oh yeah, I actually had some friends who if they would have gotten like backed up by Rare, but Nintendo owns the license to that. There's a whole bunch of issues with that. But anyway, that had dual controls. At least it was a dual stick control game. It probably would have fared much better now than it does. I mean, fared much better now, but for the time, it was pretty good.
thing about multiplayer is they pretty much took the code for the game and then like they went to this guy. I forget what his name is, but they went to this guy and it's like, here, we have the code for GoldenEye. Develop a multiplayer game in 2 months. He did it, and he made it work really well.
Yup. Took the words right out of my mouth.
Wow, I love how we burned through topics.
We're not done yet.
Well, I know that. That's self-explanatory.
I'm gonna hand it off to Lee and Matt after I discuss this one final game that I have. Well, it's actually 2 games. It's a part of a sequel series.
Go ahead, RetroVGN.
No, but wait, I have a question. Do we all get to discuss one game or what?
As many as we have time for. We may run after the 5 o'clock mark.
I am going to.
I actually have one more, I think.
I'm going to
I do too.
For me, Resident Evil.
I haven't even started yet.
I haven't even started either.
Alright, we're gonna give everybody a turn. Another one of my favorite games of all time is a sequel series, one of which came out on the PlayStation 1 in the 90s, I think mid to late 90s, was Brave Fencer Musashi from Square Enix. It was a very, very well done RPG and platforming game.
Hey, Retro! Remember? I still got another version of the game.
Yeah, you still have Claudio. You still have to beat its sequel.
Samurai Legend.
Oh God!
Its sequel, its sequel was for the PS2, the PlayStation 2. It was called Samurai Legend Musashi.
I'm stuck at the fire place thing.
Yeah.
I have no idea where I should head next because I don't know what happened. I think I played it back in 2008, I guess. A really long
Brave
time.
Fencer Musashi has all the atmosphere you'd look for in like the mid-series of RPGs, like say A Link to the Past and let's see, what else could I compare it to?
Wild Arms, because it did have kind of like the chibi-ass style.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, Wind Waker?
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, it was probably
But also
up
very
there
in
terms of design.
Unfamiliar style of
yeah, the cell shaded. He's talking about the cell shaded in Samurai Legend Musashi. It made the art style amazing.
The first game, but I played the second game.
It's one of the most beautiful PlayStation 2 games I've been ever graced to play. And Samurai Legend Musashi is really great. I can't talk about it enough.
Yeah, the only thing that really would irk people is just the voice acting.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those games where it's like the voice acting is kind of terrible, and you even notice it that believe the same voice actor or actress for Musashi is the same person who did Axel in Mega Man X7. You can hear the similarities.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah. Seriously, just compare the footage with that voice actor or actress, because I don't know who it is, and then compare that and then a cutscene for Mega Man X7 with Axel in it, and then you'll hear it's the same freaking voice.
Oh, really?
I never actually knew that though.
Yeah, I want to add some tidbits in this.
When I was playing X7.
Mega Man X.
Yep.
We're looking that up right now.
Never played any of the 19 games. None of them. Never.
Oh man.
Whatever.
The game in question, Brave Fencer Musashi has a lot of inside jokes or pod shots. One of the most famous pod shots in the whole game has to be Scribe Shanky, because he's the typical stereotypical homosexual voice actor.
Oh shit!
Wow.
The first 5 minutes in the game, you'll know what I'm talking about. I want you to go get an emulator and play it once if you haven't, folks. And you'll see what I'm talking about. You will laugh. The second pod shot I have to say that I enjoyed was the princess calling Musashi a little turd.
I was gonna say, didn't that have like a whole? Didn't Musashi have like a whole bunch of places named after food or something?
Yeah, all you can eat palace. The first part.
I knew
of
it.
the game.
I'm like, oh man, I remember like some of the names and places, and like I'm like, damn, were the programmers really fat or something, or hungry
No,
the entire time programming the game? Because everything's
they were
named
more
after
hungry.
food.
They were hungry. I would have did that. I would have did that too. If I was a video game programmer and I was very hungry. I would do the same thing.
All right, I'm gonna hand it off to a duo named Lee and Matt. They can both talk at the same time because they haven't been given any spotlight here. It's kind of unfair. All right, you guys.
All right. Well, we decided that I'd go first, but
What do you mean we decided?
Yeah, but I guess my like most popular memory with myself would be finding Eminemneo in Pokemon Blue.
That one's a little bit out there, but hey,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I was at a campground. I forget exactly why, and there were a few other kids there. This was like back in like the late 90s.
90s kick-ass.
And so one of the kids showed me how to give a signal. You know, go talking to the old man, surfing on Cinnabar Island and all that. And it was pretty crazy. Like, especially back then when the internet wasn't really as popular as it is now. To see people, like, finding these things. That's about it.
I was gonna say that, yeah, I get you. It was like at the time when you're a kid, like around the 90s, without the internet, basically you just had to hear everything through word of mouth. And some
or
things
game magazines.
Yeah, true. Or game magazines like Nintendo Power. Oh, rest in peace, Nintendo Power.
Yes, we'll miss you.
Okay, but back on topic. Back on topic. Damn it, we always keep losing focus. But anyway, anyway, it's like back then you only had word of mouth, and a lot of the crap people would say would be usually false, but then sometimes if you were to follow it, it would be true, and that was that one time with the signal, and I was like, this isn't gonna work, and then I try all this, and I'm like, oh my god, it works, and then, you know, you get the unlimited master balls or limited rare candies, and if you catch a signal, your game glitches up, and it's hilarious.
Oh, missing number.
Yep.
Yeah, there were a lot of cool, like, video game rumors back then. And I mean, even like not all the way back then, like somewhat recently, you know, like finding Sonic in Super Smash Bros. Melee, or
oh god,
the thing is with that, he was originally planned to be in Melee, but due to development time, he had to be cut. And I actually saw a story about that, and apparently he was supposed to be there, and I was expecting it, but apparently that was also an April Fool's thing. But he really was meant to be in that game.
Yeah.
But now he is in Brawl.
Yeah, and he sucks.
Bingo!
Wait, which character sucks? I wasn't like
I mean, like.
No, I actually think Snake is better.
Brawl, they made him kind of, I don't know. His moves are all the same, almost all the same. Okay, Kenny, are you burping the whole time?
Yeah, Monee.
Somebody.
Where's your etiquette at? You burped when he was trying to talk.
What?
You burped when Kaleido was trying to talk.
That was an accident. Bite me.
Yeah, but.
Damn, that ain't like the stereotypical lady that you all supposed to be persistent.
Alright,
she's tough. She's badass.
No, I just give no kind of fuckage.
Can I have one with someone to say?
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, Sonic, like in Brawl, they made him. I mean, all these moves are good and all. The Super Sonic gets Final Smash, but just three of his special moves are just the same thing. Rolling, just it's all rolling. All these
how else are you gonna program moves into Sonic unless you're trying to think of like getting his moves set from Sonic the Fighters?
Sonic's going too fast.
Except B up and B. That is that spring thing. That bounce
It's useful as a recovery, but once you do it, it's done. It's like the early Smash Brothers games.
Yes.
If you do what?
Only one
Anyway,
recovery per jump.
Oh.
I know which I know this is a retro thing, but the character I can play best with in Brawl, that is Lucas. My best characters in Brawl.
Some of the best people to play as Lucas because Ness is really underpowered compared to Lucas. But it's all in a matter of the moveset
Some
because
people say Lucas is weaker than Ness, but actually it's not. Yes, he's stronger in different ways. Oh well, back to retro topic.
yeah,
who was
it's Lee's turn, I believe.
who was talking?
Alright, Mario Master. You're
Huh?
up.
Lee?
Uh,
TC
I go last. I'm still thinking.
Alright, that's
Bobby.
fine.
I got
Steve, you're
mine.
up then.
Steve.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Well, I had a Sega Saturn, and my favorite game on that was Panzer Dragoons Y. Anyone got anything to say about that?
I was gonna say I've heard of Panzer Dragoon, but apparently it was really, really underrated. And same with
Wait,
the
what?
sequel on
Wait, what? You
Xbox.
said Legend of Dragoon?
No, Panzer
No.
Dragon.
Oh, Panzer
Aw.
Dragoon. It also had a sequel on Xbox, which I don't know if it even works
Orta.
on the 360. Yeah, Orta. Is that it? Is that good too? And I heard that Orta might have a port of the original game too.
It does, yeah.
But does it like? All right. So how is it like Panzer Dragoon? Like, what's the gameplay like?
It's an on-rail shooting game, kind of like Star Fox 64, but it was really good. The music was really good. The visuals were pretty good for the Sega Saturn, and it was just a very memorable game because I've had a lot of dreams about it. Like the first level where the dragon would attack the village and like burn it up, and then you'd fly, and then then the dragon would like knock you off your dragon, and it would end up flying away, and you'd have to end up going on this long chase after it through about 6 zones, I think.
All I really have to say about Panzer Dragoon is like the only thing I know about it is just how rare it is to find a Sega Saturn copy of it. Seriously,
It is
you got.
pretty rare, and that's why I really want Sega to make like a HD remake of it already.
I mean, they already did it of Knights, and I believe that went well. I mean, like
Knights
right
was
now,
awesome.
some of these games that are being re-released in HD collections that seem to have like a cult status, and because of that cult status, it already has like an underground like kind of fan base that would just, if anything new were to come out for it, they would just instantly jump on it, and so that would at least be like at least a little bit of predicted sales. So I hope that Panzer Dragoon, if it were to get something, that it would have at least over Sega's expectations when it comes to sales, if something were to come out.
Even if they just re-release Orta on the Xbox Live store, because that would have the first 2 in it. Like, no, that would have Orta and the first one, and then they just need to remake the second one, and then they would need to do like a big project for the Saga, Panzer Dragoon Saga, because the game code actually got burnt up in a warehouse in a fire, and they lost it.
That sucks.
But
Jesus.
But other companies have managed to just remake games just by upgrading the textures and stuff. They don't need the source code. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's possible that they could just make it again.
And they could also get the code from Orta too, since it has the whole game.
Exactly. Like, they could just get the code from Orta, restructure the textures and everything to make it look like Saga. Make it, put it on an RPG engine, because it was actually an RPG, like, you know, leveling up and all that sort of stuff. It wasn't an on-rail shooter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was unique to the series. And,
So that gives you a bit of insight.
and someone also mentioned another game that I really liked, Nights.
Nights into Dreams?
Yeah, Nights into Dreams.
That was an awesome game. The fact that they brought it back in HD, and that wasn't just the Sega Saturn port, which they included, but that was the PS2 port they had.
I know, and they
Oh.
like. Sorry.
Go ahead.
And they just basically managed to completely upgrade the PS2 version so that it would play in a 1080p resolution, which was impressive.
Amazing.
It looks really good on my big screen TV as well.
I actually have it, but I haven't gotten much time to play it on my PS3. But I will get to it someday.
Well, they actually recently did a patch where they fixed the sensitivity of the movement when you like move knights around and stuff. So now it's more like the Saturn one. So it's more smoother and it's easier to circle around the blue chips and get high scores and stuff.
Oh, really? I'm actually gonna turn my PS3 and get that patch right now.
Yep.
And
Okay.
apparently that Knights is one of the games that Shigeru Miyamoto said he wished he would have made. That's how good it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Look it up. There are articles of him saying it.
I thought Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transform did quite a really good job of the night stage. There was just a lot of eye candy and a lot of references, and when I saw like Wise Man in that hallway throwing those rocks at you and saying those words at you, I was just like, oh my god. I was like, they've really out themselves this time.
Nice.
And oh yeah, and Sonic CD as well. That's not on the Sega Saturn, of course, but that's another game that I really enjoyed. The first time I played it was on the Sonic Gems collection on the PS2, and ever since then I like played all the different versions of it. I even played the beta version, and I would also look up the differences between the beta and the non-beta and stuff.
Prototype information is always interesting. I've always had a thing for that.
Yeah, like if you looked up any of the initial releases or try to find some ROMs of Sonic 2 where they have the
Little
unfinished levels.
tidbits of it.
Yeah.
Yes, I have
Like-
studied the Sonic 2 beta from each different revision.
Yeah, like where they had one where it had like a whole tree zone and another one was supposed to
Wood
be...
Zone.
No, in Sonic 2 there was supposed to be like some
Yeah.
zone. That
Tree
was-
Zone. Yeah, it's Wood Zone.
Yeah, Wood
Yeah.
Zone. Yeah.
And this isn't another game, but I wanted to add something earlier, but I didn't get a chance. When we're talking about the limitations between the Genesis and the SNES in terms of music and bitrate quality and stuff, I was gonna say that even though Sonic 3's music, like Michael Jackson didn't like it, I still think that the ending credits of Sonic 3 were a very, very impressive reinterpretation of Stranger from Moscow.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
I love
nice.
Disney theme, yay. I love you, sir.
And that's all I have to say. I can't think of anything else. Oh,
Yeah.
there's
Okay.
one more. Okay. Does anyone remember not the first, does anyone remember Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit?
Nope.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
No.
Well, I just wanted to say how I cannot believe how the recent Hot Pursuit that came out, which was supposed to be like reliving the whole Hot Pursuit thing again with Need for Speed, was just a complete letdown in my opinion. It's like they got a bunch of modern day like what's you can't really say hipsters, can you? What can anyone think of a good word for like people of today sort of thing, like the people who are all into the popular
Swaggies.
stuff and
Streamers?
yeah.
Idiots?
I
Front
thought they were
runners.
called streamers or something.
Okay,
runner.
sure, we'll go with that.
Front
But
runners.
I can't believe how they turned a game as memorable as Need for Speed Hot Pursuit into this kind of boy racer type. Like, it's just...
They're trying to appeal to that sort of crowd.
Yeah, and I just don't like it. I want that nice, old-fashioned driving 90s sports cars through little villages with the police on the...
They've been doing that with a lot of games.
With the police on the intercom saying stuff like, "Hello, he is currently leaving the village. Set up a spike strip underneath the bridge and stuff like that.
Oh, so they try to make it more like Forza?
Yeah, they're trying to make it more like Forza these days, and I do not like it. I do not like it at all. It's like Gran Turismo mixed with Forza, and it's not my thing.
Well, that's EA for you.
EA Sports, it's in the game.
They haven't been on the ball lately. They haven't been on the ball lately when it comes to trying to appeal to their customers and to their fans. I mean, they were recently named the worst company in America on an online poll. So, yeah, that kind of shows.
Have you seen Capcom?
Wait, what?
Have you seen Capcom, what they've been doing?
But when you think about it, EA has done a lot worse recently.
Did you hear their latest? Did you hear their latest strategy on how they're basically in a way of trying to get more money? Because they claim that they've been making a lot of mistakes, they're going to make another mistake and think that it's actually going to undo a mistake. They're going to promote more DLC.
That's
honestly, I don't understand all the unwarranted hate on EA. I really don't.
That's pretty much. You don't Oh my God, where have you been?
Alright.
Just a recent example of that would be the DRM situation with SimCity.
Yes, I know about that. They admitted it was a mistake.
Okay, that, and of course Mass Effect 3, 1 being a huge letdown, 2, even to the fans who are generally even sane or, like Mass Effect.
Don't forget
Mass Effect or the ending. That didn't especially live up to expectations, especially since we spend so much time throughout all the games, like at least over 40 plus hours in the games, doing like all these things, building up your character, and to have it build up and then end in such a shallow, flat way. That was something that just
don't forget their acquisition of Westwood and how they shut Westwood down and took control of the Command and Conquer series. 3 was good, but Tiberium Twilight was terrible. They just killed the series there.
That
and now they want to make an online one. They want to make Command and Conquer Online.
Oh, great. And not to mention EA, most of their new games come with, let me tell you,
DRM.
Online passes.
And DRM.
Oh
Definitely.
my God.
EA was the one that's pretty much, I believe it was EA that pretty much started the whole online pass craze. I mean, other companies are doing it too, like Ubisoft.
And then THQ tried it and it killed them.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for THQ in a way, because
they make good games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the look of Saints Row 4 at all. I mean, it's just Saints Row the 3rd again, and they've just upgraded it slightly, and I think that's because of the whole change from THQ to Deep Silver and the fact that Volition's production time was cut in half.
Yeah, I agree.
It's disappointing, because...
And it's pretty much just getting super out with it. I mean, yeah, that'll be fun, especially for people who haven't played Saints Row 3. I mean, I played Saints Row the 3rd, but I didn't really have any, incentive to buy it, and if I were to get this, then maybe you might give me an incentive, but they're waiting to see.
Have you played 2?
Yeah, I have it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's
okay.
My opinion.
Yeah.
Now I'd like to hand the torch off to Vesper here, Dizzy. So, you're up, Dizzy.
Okay, well, basically I already just stated, my recent memories of what I can actually remember of me playing retro games, but I think it's time for me to actually talk about what got me into the genre that I'm known to be into, which is, of course, the fighting game genre. And you guys just talk about this company, Capcom, and of course, Street Fighter 2 for the Sega Genesis.
It's an amazing game, by the way.
Really? Sega Genesis?
Yeah, it's called
the
Special Champion Edition on the Sega Genesis. I do have that cartridge with me.
And in my honest opinion, I think that's the best version because of one thing, how fast the gameplay is and the controller you have, the 6-button controller. When you at a Street Fighter tournament, that is a must.
I love how fluid the Genesis version of Super Street Fighter is. Street Fighter 2 or whatever, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, whatever it is. I like how fluid it is.
Super Street Fighter 2 one, but I never did play the Genesis version. I played this, Super Nintendo version. But my point is, Capcom's line of fighting games really got me into, fighting game genre. And then I played Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
I was basically a fighting game nerd, and heck, I'm still am. As a matter of fact, this year when the convention that happened in my town, Detroit, Humicon, they're going to have like this big major tournament. I'm entering for Mortal Kombat, Injustice, and of course Ultimate Marvel 3.
Wait, did you say Detroit?
Yes.
Dude, I'm in Detroit too.
Oh man. Wow. Who would have thought? But anyway, yeah, I'm basically going to go to those tournaments, and I'm also going to be going to a few majors as well. Hopefully, if I can get the money and the time, I can go to Evil for Skullgirls.
Nice. And I just wish that patch would come through for the 360 version already. I don't know if it has yet.
They said 2 weeks, about a few days, because someone at Konami didn't do their job. So.
Because I've been waiting so long for that so I can play it again.
Yeah, basically, I know this because I talked to, people that was involved in Skullgirls, including the ones that voiced the characters.
Oh, really? Even, like,